Right, they motion McCaffrey backwards pass to McCaffrey, and he's going to throw downfield wide open. Brandon Ayuk, touchdown! San Francisco. He can run. He can catch.
Getting on fire.
Christian McCaffrey can throw. Schultz to the other, going to throw out left, intercepted. Diamador Lenore.
Whoa,
Dak
what a
Prescott
play.
just threw him the ball on the outcut going left to CeeDee Lamb. Diamador Lenore comes up with the game's first big play. Here's Prescott back, has time, throws out left, intercepted. Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner. Jimmy Ward tipped the ball, and Fred Warner with the INT. They're going to give it to McCaffrey coming left. McCaffrey, touchdown! San Francisco! He has thrown one, he has caught one, he has run one.
Hey,
Breezy, greedy, this that nine.
Mo's nose. Peachy, fair to gone. It's about that time, everybody turn your TVs on. The Mo's nose, Peachy, Breezy, and fair to gone. They keep it nitty gritty when they bring you nine and tall. We two gorilla, silverback, nah, silver
You know it's
horse.
busting the discussion cause we get it in. Every time you know we grinding, I was 8 to 10. We always play to win. The faithful going hard. It's Wayne, Breezy, Peachy, Mo's nose, and fear to God. Let's get it.
Nitty gritty, this the line is tall. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, this the line is tall. We outline players up in chalk. Nitty gritty, this the line is tall. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, this the line is tall. Line is tall. Nitty gritty, this the line is tall.
What's going on, faithful? The Nitty Gritty Niners Talk crew is in the building. What's good, Peachy? How you doing on this 49er victory Sunday? Not a victory Monday. I tell you what, it'll be a victory Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all the way up till they play again. But it's officially a victory Sunday. I'm excited. There's a lot to talk about, a lot that I witnessed with my own two eyes. But I want to know how you doing, how you holding in there. Let everybody know how you feeling.
And first of all, what's going on, Breezy and everybody? Man, let me tell you, I just got my blood pressure down about 4 o'clock this morning. It was so ironic because I was literally just talking to Breezy like a couple of days ago, and I said, isn't it nice to finally not have these blood pressure games? You know, the ones we used to have with number 10, you know what I'm saying? Like all the time when you're watching a game, you're like, whatever. Isn't it nice that all that is behind us? And God was like, think again, watch this. And man, let me tell you, between shots that I took and everything like that, like I think the last time I checked my blood pressure, it was finally back to normal. I mean, from being in front of my TV, like, please, let's do this, please, let's do this. But the coolest thing about it is my guy Breezy, man, before the drive even started, before the game-winning drive started, Breezy said, we got this. Don't worry about it. Calm down. We got this. We're going to win this game. I just have that feeling. He was absolutely right because we literally went down the field on him. And even like the Packers on the sideline, I was watching NFL Network, they were stunned. Like they were literally with their mouth open for the whole drive. Like this is not happening right now. So it was it was exciting. Like I told my nephew, you know, because he's neutral, I said, this was probably awesome for everyone who didn't have a team involved in this. This game was crazy. In the rain, you know, the elements you can ask for, rain, wind, whole 9 yards, just, you know, everything that you can ask for happened in this game. Yeah. From slipping and sliding and all these different things. But at the end of the day, the Packers played 50-something minutes of football, and the 49ers played all 60, and that's how we got the win, is to play 60 minutes of football.
Yeah. Listen, if you didn't have heart attacks, aneurysms, and I'm not making fun of anybody in their
strokes.
Health.
Don't forget about strokes.
Different strokes. If you didn't witness or feel any of that, then you are abnormal. You are not normal. I just want to let you know you might want to go get checked up, because as much faith as I had, Peachy, I'm not gonna, my nerves weren't getting the best of me. It was more just like, come on, not another scenario like the Cleveland game. That's the only thing that started to kind of like fill my brain with, oh, not another Cleveland game. Because if you look at it, everything that happened in the Cleveland game, almost identical to what was happening in this Packers game. And I was saying to myself, dang it, we're 0-1 against the NFC North, and we're going to finish this 1-1, possibly 2-1 coming up after today's game. So, look, I know I might not have been normal with the nerves. I wasn't nervous. I was confident that the team would win. They just needed the opportunity. So I was super confident in the opportunity. And I said, when Brock got the ball, I said, listen, this is going to be a Brock drive. Just watch and witness the greatness of having a new franchise quarterback. Now, let me not get it twisted. Brock was terrible. He was not good all game. Not shooting him down, but there's a lot of stuff he left out on the football field. But Peachy, what's that old cliche? It ain't how you start, it's about how you finish.
It's how you finish.
I don't know who created that, but it's probably one of the smartest cliches we've ever heard in our lifetime. And, for Packer fans felt like we got lucky. Don't talk to me about luck when you guys had one penalty all game. Don't mention luck. And you dropped 2 picks. So don't talk about luck. We got lucky. I don't want to hear that crap. But like Peachy said, we just played and fought for 60 minutes. Here's the good news, Peach, that the 49ers finally won a game trailing in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
And let me just break this down. There's a lot of stuff that we can kind of put the puzzle pieces together, because if it wasn't for the Jake Moody 52-yard field goal,
that's right,
and then somehow the special teams got a good juju in forcing a missed field goal, and then it allowed Brock Purdy to get the opportunity to go down there and get a 6 for 7 completions, 40-something plus yards, and get his team into scoring position to take the go-ahead win. And then how crazy is it that it presented the opportunity for the defense to go down there and seal the deal, Peachy? Like, come on. It was perfectly set up to give every 49er faithful fan access to the nearest emergency room of their choice.
Because I was almost there. Like, I had one foot out the door and I was almost there. And when Breezy sent me that text and he said, don't worry about it, calm down, we got this, we're gonna win, I promise we're gonna win this game. I have that feeling like 49ers are about to win this game. Because I'm gonna admit, I was as faithful as I am and as faithful as I have been for decades. I was freaked out. Like, I was literally freaked out. Like, wow, this might not go the way that I think it's supposed to go.
It could have ended a little differently, but it didn't. If was fair, if was a fifth, we'd all be drunk or we'd still be drunk. Yeah, he's true. Perna Moore says, or Maury says, Green Bay defeated by Greenlaw, but then he prefaced it with the irony.
That's awesome.
so technically, Green Bay was defeated by our Green Leaf with the green thumb that was able to catch not one, but two interceptions in this particular game. Peachy, I want to know if you were screaming, "Get down," when Dre Greenlaw caught that interception pass.
I was screaming, "Get down," just like the announcers were screaming, "Get down."
Not me. Not me.
Olsen
Not
was
me.
like, get
I
down,
wasn't.
get
Wasn't
down,
me.
so you can end the game.
It wasn't going to end the game. It wasn't going to end the game. It wasn't going to end. Dre Greenlaw saw green acres. We're going to keep the word green like flowing. And Greenlaw blamed it on Fred Warner. That was the funniest part, right? He said, Fred said that when I get the opportunity to catch interceptions, it's got to be a pick six. Fernando, what's going on out there, bro? Like, and so I'm just curious to know, man. He ran lateral, but he ran at least 30 yards this way, and then tried to get back upfield. I was like, dude, just don't fumble, man. Do what you got to do.
Right.
Just
the way,
don't let the ball pop
which is
up.
why I wanted, like, I think that's why me and a lot of other people were screaming get down, because we did not, like, the way the game was going or had been going, the last we needed was somebody to knock that ball out of his hand, because that would have just been, so that's why I think everyone, including the announcers, was like, get down. So,
Listen,
this game was just not exactly going.
If you got an interception, I don't care what you was told to do, you trying to get the ball into the end zone. We see it all the time. So I'm not mad at him. Too bad he couldn't score. But I wasn't screaming get down. I was run, hold on to the ball, run, hold on, wait a minute, don't get down. I did say one get down. Like at the very end where he was getting wrapped up by three people. Niner Fantasy Faithful, thank you for the super chat contribution from Pern as well. As Niner Fantasy Faithful says, what a game from the 49ers. They played their hearts out. They were Lions. I had to add that in there. And CMC was astounding last night. No Debo, and Purdy led his team down the field and won the game. My quarterback on top. Let's win the Super Bowl. Great contribution. Great statement. Yeah, I don't to overreact. There's a bunch of stuff the 49ers got to fix. Okay. There's a bunch of stuff like, all right. Since we're talking about the offense had zero rhythm, and that's not Brock Purdy's fault.
Right.
That is a head coaching fault. I feel like the head coach has to get his team into some type of rhythm. And when I mean by rhythm, it's easy throws, good sustainable runs, whatever, but into some type of rhythm. And so I didn't think that Green Bay's defense was playing a type of game where it was knocking Purdy off the rhythm. Now, I see my man Tony out there. He says you got to factor in the injury between Deebo Samuel, which he's the only player that quote unquote left this game injured and did not return with a shoulder injury. We will try to give you guys updates all week long. I'll be traveling tomorrow, so there'll be no shows tomorrow, but all week long we'll try to provide you with updates. Now, there was word from Deebo Samuel. Shout out to my man Raj, our SF 49ers. I did see this. He said that Deebo Samuel wanted to come back in this game and play, but they ruled him out. And he said that he does plan to play. He's not hurt that bad to play in the NFC Championship game. But again, we'll see what those test results state. So we're praying for Deebo Samuel. But Peachy, you saw it. Like, here we go. This is what I wanted to do. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. First play was a rush, 5 yards. Christian McCaffrey. Second play, pass. Okay. Deebo Samuel, 15 yards. Next play, you get the penalty. So I'm like, dang. Now we're going to be negative. Next play, incomplete pass. Next play, pass for 9. Next play, sack, punt. That's the first drive. So it was run, pass, 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 pass. It was run, pass, 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 punt. That's not rhythm. That's not balance.
Right. That's
how are you feeling about that? How are you feeling, Peachy, about that first attack from the 49ers offense?
No, it was not. I was very agitated because I expected the 49ers to come out a lot more balanced than that. And I was very upset about it. We try to pass the ball way too many times. Like, we're supposed to have a balance. We're supposed to have pass run. Like, it's supposed to be kind of balanced. It don't have to be even, but it can't just be like a bunch of passes like back to back like that. Like, you have to get that ball to where, you can set it up to pass. I mean, everyone knows that the 49ers, go off of play action with the run. So you run the ball to set up the pass. So you run it more. And I just couldn't understand why they weren't doing that.
Yeah, like it was a 5-yard run.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm okay with going for I'm okay with going to pass on a second down, which they did. They got 15 out of it from Debo. But for some reason, like Kyle wasn't. It just seemed like Kyle was early trying to put the ball or the game in Brock Purdy's hands.
Yes.
But you could do that with I guess easier throws. There were there were checkdowns all game. Brock missed some. Just what were your overall thoughts about Brock Purdy? Like, and before you give me your thoughts, I'll give you his stats and how he finished the game. Purdy, he was 23 for 39, so he dropped back 39 times, or at least 39 pass attempts. Excuse me, 252 yards. He was averaging 6.5 a play. He had the 1 TD. He had the long of 32. He was sacked once. He finished with a rating of 86.7. It's a typical standard 49er quarterback day. But how are you feeling about Brock Purdy's performance overall?
Overall, I felt like that Brock had some shaky moments at the beginning of the game, even up through like in the first quarter. Like, it was just some weird, wacky stuff that was going on with Brock. And then in the second half, when he had the one, what was the one where it's all over TV, where they're talking about how he's trying to like wring his hand, like wring the water off his hand, like in the middle of trying to get the ball. Just things like that. I felt like that he was a little bit inaccurate, which we haven't really seen from Brock too much this year. The rain did, I'd say, have a lot to do with that. But there were some where it wasn't raining quite so bad and he was still kind of inaccurate. So I don't know, that's going to happen to quarterbacks and things like that. And then, of course, the game-saving drive where, you throw all that out the window and you're like, he just, like, won this game. Like, him and McCaffrey. Like, they literally just won this game for us. I'm sorry, him, Kittle, and McCaffrey. Literally won this game. But overall, he had a lot of shaky moments that I believe was more of rust as far as the inaccuracies and whatever. I mean, they said that he hadn't thrown he hadn't been played a game for 20 days or something like that. Was it 20 days? So, he's going to be inaccurate because, you got to get back in the rhythm. But one thing, like you said, is that we were really never in a rhythm. And that's one thing. We know that once Brock gets in a rhythm, that it's just on and popping. And we just never could get in that rhythm. I felt like that not having Debo, I think that kind of threw Brock off as well as Kyle off too, just losing Debo like that. When he means so much to that offense. I felt like Jennings helped out a lot with that though. But I still feel like that it was just more of like a rest thing, the weather. I would say that. I don't expect Brock Purdy to look like that in the NFC Championship game.
I mean, if the weather's the same, then you got to expect it.
Right. But I don't think it's going to be because right now they're saying it's not going to be there. It's going to be.
I'm just saying,
sunshiny.
We got to factor in the factor. It's not necessarily just the weather. I mean, something about Brock Purdy measurables that just does that affects him when the ball is wet. And so Kyle Shanahan already talked about how they don't practice with wet balls. So if your quarterback's not practicing with the ball being saturated and full of water, then naturally the ball's going to be heavier when he throws it. It's going to affect the trajectory of his accuracy and things like that. Now, these aren't excuses. Right. That's why you should practice them. And so, that's why I said, it comes down to, the head coach having his guys prepared. And so, you want to see Brock overcome a weather game. He did. Had a great scoring game-winning drive. They won the ball. I don't know. Maybe the balls got lighter, or maybe he adjusted and the receivers adjusted because even those passes weren't perfect passes. I mean, Kittle dropped the perfect pass. I thought the perfect pass on third and six.
Wow.
That was a perfect pass. That was perfect. And Kittle, you can't drop that ball. But he also caught a touchdown in the game. He caught another big play where he was able to get yards after the catch. So, like, look, they had their up moments, they had their high moments, they had their low moments. I think for Brock Purdy, you know, it seemed like there were more low moments because we also didn't talk about the passes that should have been intercepted.
Lord, I forgot.
The first one was thrown right to Darnell Savage, and Savage just drops the ball, or he's going in for a touchdown for a pick six. And so, like, it's like, Brock, like, what are you seeing? What are you not seeing? You mentioned it being rust. Maybe. Here's the thing. Maybe the 49ers just need to play football every week. And here's why I'm saying that. George Kittle talked about, like, that 2019 season where every time they stepped out on the football field, minus a few games, those games were nail biters, down to the end, came down to a field goal. Like, they didn't have to where they were dominating like they did this year. The teams that they beat bad. The teams that they lost to were close games and they couldn't figure out a way to win.
Right. Exactly.
They picked this game. This has to be Kyle Shanahan designed it mindset saying, listen, if we're going to win the gritty game, let's just do it in the playoffs. Let's not do it in the regular season. Let's do it.
Exactly.
Let's wait till we get to the playoffs and do it against a team that is hot. Now, Peachy, you tipped your hat on social media to the Green Bay Packers. And I thought that the Green Bay Packers played a stout game, like you did. But I didn't think they did anything special that showed me they were the better team. I really feel like that the 49ers offensively couldn't get going, had zero really much to do with the defense. Yes, they played zone. They played a lot of zone. They did try to emulate what the Baltimore Ravens did, and that's what they were trying to do. But, Peachy, did you see Brock adjusted because there was a play where they had, I know people said didn't know, JP says, no more empty sets. Listen, we're praying for you, and the missus, I'm praying that your baby is birthed soon so you can be celebrating and holding it in the air and give us the Simba performance. Right. The circle of life. But congratulations to your child almost being here. Congratulations, bro. He says no more empty sets. We saw that a lot. I just feel like the 49ers are always like they don't keep it simple.
Yeah.
There was that play that I was talking about that where Brock adjusted from the Ravens game it was a play where he had Kyle Juszczyk went in motion. He came back. He was on the left. He came back to the right. He ran into the flat. He threw it to Christian McCaffrey. It was a bad throw. I felt like Christian McCaffrey, I don't know if he ran the angle route. Anyway, it was a high throw. Christian McCaffrey couldn't come down with it. So it was a bad throw. McCaffrey had Quay Walker beat. It's just the throw was bad. But he didn't throw it to Juice because the defender was right in his face. And if you remember in the Ravens game, he did that and it was a tip ball and then it ended up being an interception. So that's showing somewhat growth. I wish he could have completed that pass though. Like that would have been dope. That would have been real dope. Super chat contribution from Michael Caldwell. So PG, I don't know if you can scroll and see Michael's other comments, but let's see if he commented something. Thank you for the super chat contribution, and we'll read it. Red Jet Shell with the super chat contribution says, does this game we were just talking. Oh no, oh my God, it's the game I broke down and cried. Does this game not remind you of the Niners versus Saints game from January 14, 2012? The back and forth, the miscues, very reminiscent, and both down to the wire. And it wasn't Alex Smith hit Vernon Davis for that touchdown.
Damn.
When I tell you I got on my knees and cried.
Before that play, wasn't that the one where Alex ran for like 30 something yards or something like that?
Yeah. That's when people was like, oh, okay, Alex Smith. Yes. Then he ended up getting hurt like in a different game, and it was Colin Kaepernick. But I don't know if this game reminded me of that, but I get all the connections. Like, how do you feel about that game? Was crazy. It did come down to the wire.
Yeah, this game right here, I think I had told you this. I think I put this on Twitter actually too. started the way that the half ended. Like, it literally gave me like Super Bowl vibes with the clock management.
Okay. We still talk about offense. We'll shift to the defense in a minute, but she talk about the offense. She talk about
that was
Peachy is specifically talking about before halftime with almost damn near a minute.
Yes.
And you use all the timeouts.
That's why it reminded me of
to do
the
nothing.
Super Bowl.
And it's cool because for Red Jet, this game reminded her of that. For you, it gave you Super Bowl. For me, it was the Cleveland Browns game this year, regular season game. It had that vibe. It just had for everybody, it has a different vibe. And I respect the vibes. I respect the vibes. So yeah, Michael Caldwell says, I pray CMC doesn't get hurt because of our backs gets 0 touches. It's another thing.
Right. That's another thing that we were going to talk about too.
We can't seem to wrap our heads around Kyle Shanahan's game plan management with his personnel. Just like JP Hella Hard said, why all the empty sets? Peachy, this is what empty sets do. It allows the defense to say they're playing pass. Now, what kind of pass is it going to be? Is it going to be a quick throw? Is it going to be this? Is it going to be that? But they're teeing off on pass. Nobody's lining up in the box. Everybody's dropping back. Sometimes it works. It usually works when Deebo Samuel's on the football field. With him being out, it changes the way they defend the empty sets. It just does. So Michael says he prays CMC doesn't get hurt. I'm not worried about his durability and stuff like that. I feel like he's battle tested and banged up. But what I don't understand is why no Mitchell? Why'd you big him up? Why'd you utilize him? Why was he killing in the Rams game and not used in this game? I
can believe that, especially when you have CMC on the sideline and you're like, massaging his thighs and trying to, get everything worked out so that, you can loosen him up and all these different things. So you decide, CMC is on the sideline. So apparently, like, he's the only running back that we have on this 53-man roster, apparently. And so we're just going to throw the ball. And it's like, you got Mitchell. Like, what? Like, just use Mitchell. Because they weren't able to, stop the run. Like, we were able to, no matter how many yards we got, we were always able to advance with the run. And some runs were, bigger than others. It happens. It's football. And you got this defense on the other side that, you're not going to get like 20 every time you run the ball. But Mitchell would have loosened that up enough to where, maybe some of those throws may have been, a lot more accurate because Brock may, would have been able to be set to do different things. And the positioning on the field with the defense would have been different. But they know that you're going to pass it because they see that you're only, the only running back is McCaffrey. And they see him on the sideline. So they already know what you're going to do. They already know that you're going to pass the football. You just can't do that. I just don't understand, why is he not, utilizing his running backs? It's so frustrating.
Because I'm trying to say, it can't be trust, right? I'm the only person that's going to say I'm okay if he doesn't use Mason. I don't agree with it, but I'm okay because then I can say it's trust and it's inexperience. Fine, cool, dee-boo, boom. That's me satisfying my constraint to why he doesn't use Mason. Doesn't make sense, but that's for me to say, okay, it makes sense why Kyle may not use him. He's young, he's inexperienced, and whatever. But I don't get why Mitchell doesn't spell McCaffrey a little bit. Now, listen, I'm okay with McCaffrey getting the touches that he got. I don't understand, once Deebo was out this game, how does Jawan Jennings get a run over Elijah Mitchell? Yes. Somebody tell me, in the world of Little Miss Bo Peep, how
so crazy.
How does he get how does he get a run over Elijah Mitchell? Huh? I'm dead. I'm asking the question. It's not hypothetical. I want to know how he gets a run.
I know it's not rhetorical. I just don't know. Just don't understand.
I need a motherfucking answer. And I know Kyle not going to give us the answer. This was Kyle's response. Oh, yeah, it was a play call on the wristband, and I didn't realize who was out there. How do you not know?
This is a playoff game. You have to know who's out there.
How do you not know?
They have to communicate with each other. They cannot do that.
No, Peachy. No.
That frustrated me so bad.
Peachy, Kyle don't got to communicate with anybody. He's supposed to know whose personnel is out there on the football field. And listen, if the play would have worked, you know what my response would have been? Why the hell is Juwan Jennings running the ball out of the backfield? I would have had the same response. What I'm trying to figure out is, how do you not put a running back? It would have been, if the 49ers came out there with something I felt like I ain't never seen in my life, but if they came out there with 3 running backs, let's just say 3 running backs. I know that's a lot, but now the defense is like, oh, shoot, is Christian running it? Is Mitchell running it? Is Juice running it? Is Juice going to go on the lineup for it?
Right.
You can motion them and be creative. What's wrong with 1 tight end, 3 running backs, and freaking, that's 31 personnel and 1 wide receiver. We weren't utilizing the wide receivers anyway. And that would have been, Juwan Jennings could have been the wide receiver. So if you motion them, it would have just confused the hell. I would have been confused.
Yeah,
so
the defense would have had no idea like what was,
What you know about the full house backfield, bro? I'm saying sometimes you just got to do something that people ain't seen in a while. Full house, power eye. There's so many different formations you could have, Kyle could run to where the defense would have been like, what the fuck, power eye?
Yeah, because one thing about it is, and I kept putting this on Twitter, like, Kyle, go in your bag, pull something out, like get something going. Debo's out, so you gotta go in there and do that. The only thing that I could think of is why he was trying to not do that much is to conserve things for the championship game and the Super Bowl.
Hey,
the only thing I can think of.
Peach, that don't make sense because if you lose, you go home. I'm not saying you don't make sense. I'm saying if that's Kyle's statement, then that's a crock of bullshit. What happens if we lose this game? Oh, well, I was saving the plays for the NFC Championship. And no, he's the most if Kyle Shanahan is the most creative head coach in football, the most innovative mind, then you know what, dude? You just gonna have to put in the work, buddy, and create a different game plan every single week and just make up some new plays. Sure, you want to run plays from 1979. You can. But my point is, that can't be it. It's just win or go home. It's like the Niners literally almost lost a football game. Literally. Why? Because the game plan was we can't figure it out. It wasn't run. Well, no, this is how I know it wasn't run. Because Kyle Shanahan threw the ball 39 times. Brock Purdy threw the ball 39 times. Peachy, can you add this up quickly? Never mind. I probably could find it. But it's 8. Let me see. We ran the ball. Hold on. Bear with me. Wait a minute. We won a football game where we ran the ball 24 times. Oh, shit. They done fucked up. Sorry. God forgive me. I'm sorry. They done messed up. The San Francisco 49ers won a playoff game running the football 24 times?
Yep.
Oh, they went in the Super Bowl easily. That's what Kyle was doing, Peachy. It wasn't that he was saving the plays.
Yeah.
He was testing his team out. I know, it's Sunday. God forgive me. I'm sorry. I'm thinking it's Monday. It shouldn't matter. I shouldn't be cursing. I don't understand some things. And then it guides me. Anyway, you're right. God forgive me. I apologize if I offended anybody. I'm not in that mode. I'm happy. We won. I'm still not understanding Kyle. And I'm not understanding Kyle. And I'm not understanding Kyle. Sorry.
Kyle has to, it's fine. It's just that Kyle's got to go back and look at Kyle. But even in his presser, like, you can tell where he, because I was getting so much flack for being so upset about this game or whatever, talking about you guys act like we just went to a funeral, like we just advanced to the NFC Championship game. Did anybody watch Kyle? Kyle's presser.
I did, and I had to rewind many takes. Corey, I didn't like it either, but I had to rewind it many times. Peachy, go ahead.
But it just, I mean, did anybody like listen to Kyle? Like, yeah, it was a victory, but I mean, we did not play.
It was gritty though.
The way that we thought we were gonna play. Let's put it that way. It's a gritty win, and we won. And teams need those, because the only positive I took from this is, as bad as we look, like, we will never look that bad again. Like, it will never happen. Like, I just do not see that happening through the Super Bowl, that we looked that way. We looked out of sync. We looked
they didn't
like
look
a team that had been off, because everybody can't deal with a long bye week. And you guys got to think about something. We sealed up this first round bye quick, like a lot quicker than I think Kyle thought that we were gonna do it.
Yeah.
And the game plan that he had for some of these people were, to just rest him, let him get healthy and all this stuff, because we had a lot. And I think that a lot of it is just, they were just so rested, out of sync, and that we definitely will be in better sync playing another game a few days later. It'll definitely keep us, what I'm saying, like, there in whatever. But
I think that's what
I think.
I think that may be part of it, but I don't think that's a huge part of it. I think the more integral part of the well-restedness came from the players that were reinserted back into the starting lineup.
Yeah.
And so what do I mean by that? Well, it's one thing to be well-rested, but it's a different thing to be well-rested and haven't played football in weeks.
Like Armstead.
Like Ambry Thomas.
Because I'm trying to figure out, like,
I'm just saying, these are all players that miss multiple weeks.
Well, whenever we get to the defensive side.
Right, and we'll get to the defense. But these are multiple players that missed every week. Troy, with the crazy fact, this is the 49ers' 17th NFC Championship game. I love it, man. I love it. I got a couple of other questions I want to read. One was from Alex. Did y'all think the rain affected Purdy, or he simply had some bad passes? It was both. I think the ball was heavy. I think that affected his velocity a little bit and his accuracy. And then I also think that he threw some hospital balls in this game. Like there was a ball I thought Brandon Ayuk wasn't going to get up. There was a ball where Kittle, there's just some. It was some inaccuracies, and I think some of it had to do to the weather. And the only reason why I'm saying that some of it had to do to the weather, Peachy, is because Brock has been consistent playing this kind of way in this type of wet weather. But there are other things that were weird to me other than that. Like the weather affected the players slipping on the football field. We'll get to the defense, but some of the offensive players slipped.
Yep.
I was like, what the heck? So, and it's our field. So weather played a factor. Yes, Green Bay was more prepared in the weather than the 49ers was. And that's why it didn't affect them. But it definitely affected the San Francisco 49ers. So Brock overall, in my opinion, had a typical day. PG talked about them being out of sync, and I seen that. I just think it had to do with more of you losing the offense. No matter what anybody says, it is ignited by Deebo Samuel. It can run with Christian McCaffrey. It can run with George Kittle. It can run with Brandon Ayuk. It can run with all these players. But Deebo is the X factor because he forces the defense to play differently. It's just the way it is. And we saw the first few plays to Deebo Samuel were positive plays, and he was in the mindset to be the bully. If Deebo, Peachy, hypothetically didn't leave this game injured, what do you think the outcome of the game would have been?
I think the outcome of the game would have been a lot different. I think that we would have beat them by more. Debo just brings such a different feel to the offense and everything that if you have Debo out there and then plus you have Jennings and you have all these, you know what I'm saying, these players out there at the same time, then it literally throws the defense off because you never know how Debo's going to be used. So it definitely brings a different element to this offense that's missing whenever Debo is not out there.
I agree. Tanya says, how Kyle had Juwan lined up in the back. The funny part is, Tanya, is I don't think he even knew. From like the presser, he didn't even know Juwan was back there. George said, why is he back here? Then the good part was he knew where to line up. So like the play call was for Debo. I want people to understand it on that wristband. The play call was for Debo, but out of the half, Debo never returned. That play was still called by the play caller. I'm not going to say his name. And maybe he thought Debo had came back. Yeah.
So what I had said earlier wasn't Kyle communicating with other people because we know that Kyle runs his offense. I'm talking about Kyle communicating with the players. So that where everybody's at, there had to be some kind of breakdown in communication there for him to appear to not even know like where Jennings was and like, what he was doing out there. One thing before we jump to the defense, so in the offense, who in the hell was Brock throwing that ball to on the right hand side down the field? Because Ayuk was even like, "What are you doing?"
That was what's the? I'm surprised. Intentional grounding. I don't know what that was.
World.
Listen, first when he dropped back, I'm like, "Oh, this is about to be a completed pass," because it had a beautiful spiral. I'm like, and then I looked. I'm like, "Oh, there's nobody there.
There's no 49ers up there whatsoever."
Ayuk
is on the other side. Like, what are you doing?
I don't know. I don't know, Peachy. That was I was scratching my head. So when Alex asked about did he have some bad throws? Bingo. That was a misread communication. Boo boo bang bing bang bang.
From all the players are on this side of the field. He's throwing on this
Brock
side.
Thought somebody was gonna be somewhere and they just weren't there.
It looks like they were all on that side over there.
It is what it is. It happened. Luckily, nothing happened. No flag, no interception.
Thank goodness, yeah. Absolutely.
I do want to highlight the best player on offense. And Juwan Jennings came back, and his role was going to be limited. Let's just call it like it is. It wasn't going to be what we saw. Mm-hmm. But, you know, GSU for life, you asked about and it was I can tell GSU for life is just old school, and this should still work. So he says, so there's not next man mentality. And so I don't know, GSU for life, if it's the difference in the generations or what. But it kind of seems like in Kyle's offense, if they don't draft the same prototype of what he wants, so if there's not a Debo B,
right,
which I don't think there's a Debo B.
No.
I don't even think there's a Debo C. So that's tough to be next man up. But we got to show some love to Juwan Jennings for being that next man up, because when they called his number, he saved the day. Mm-hmm. Like, Peachy, what's your thoughts on Jennings, man? Like, underrated player for sure. I get it now. He ain't getting
definitely
paid.
Underrated.
He is underrated. Woo!
He definitely made some very clutch plays for us that were, nice. He definitely saved us out there on offense as well. You could put him in there with McCaffrey. Yep, definitely.
Juwan Jennings finished this game, ladies and gents, in the receiving with 6 targets, 5 receptions, 61 yards. He was averaging 12.2 yards per reception, excuse me. George Kittle led the team in yards. He had 7 targets, 4 receptions, 81 yards. We talked about his crucial drop. Ayuk had some clutch catching. I know people were a little bit upset with Ayuk. Oh my gosh, the one he dove and caught the ball, which saved the day.
Yes.
Like saved the day. It literally saved the day.
Regardless of the drop that he had that was right before that.
I didn't think that was even going to be a completed catch because I thought the ball was going to hit the ground because it was so low.
Exactly.
But Nigel is right. We got a super chat contribution from our cousin Sid. He says, Sid says, the only reason why I'm not calling for Kyle Shanahan to be fired this morning is because it's Sunday and it's the Lord's Day. I got it. I figured it out. I'm just playing. It's because we won. The play calls you called out and the personnel awareness was spot on. You can tell when there's football coaching minds in our community because this is what they wrap their head. These are the private conversations we have from with our cousins. Like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't even logically make sense.
Yeah.
Like Kyle Shanahan can easily trump the defense with the personnel that he puts out there, but then it comes down to execution. But sometimes that's why Peach was going to say Kyle's still not trusting his players, because if he did, wouldn't he just, hey, we're going to run this, we're going to adjust this a little bit, blah, 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 y'all got to execute it. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, the play calls just, you're taking advantage of the run. They're not stopping the run. Christian McCaffrey had 98 yards. He could have easily had 198 yards. You could have even spelled the run. You didn't have your Debo, but you could have even spelled the run with other. You could have, added another running back or two. And Kyle just stuck to the pass-heavy game. I want people to understand when we say pass-heavy, it was 39-24. Can somebody please now tell me they understand when we say pass-heavy? And when Peachy says it needs to be balanced, you want that number to be close to, those two numbers to be close or identical. That's right game management, proper calling, blah, 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 all that good stuff. It does take execution. I felt like we talked about the offense way too much, and the offense, in my opinion, only put up 24 points. Before we get to the defensive side, we read all our super chats, right? Before we get to the defensive side, because I got you, Nigel. We just wanted to wait till we talked about the defense, okay? Yes. Let's talk about special teams because it's the worst goddamn special teams in the history of the NFL.
Oh
it's just the worst. Let me say, the offense responds. You go up by only a point.
Yeah. And
then the special team says, nah, man, let's just get them ball back down there by the 3-yard line. Like, come on, Cletus.
God.
PG, special teams is terrible. It's like they're never in sync. You got kickers missing field goals one game. You got bad punting one game, bad field position one game.
Let me tell you.
Just give me one thing that you want to see better from Brian. What is his last name? Schneider? From Brian Schneider. What's something you feel like he needs to adjust moving forward in the playoffs?
I don't know.
I'm going to post every special team comment I see. I promise. Member or no member, while Peachy's talking.
They have got to figure out how to try to be more aware of what's going on because they have to start advancing. I mean, that was a whole gripe that we had about Bell, is that he wasn't trying to advance the ball up, trying to look for holes, trying to, what I'm saying, trying to do all these things. We also need better blocking. One of the most important things on special teams is you have to have blocking so that the receiver can move the ball up the field. The blocking is horrible. Oh my God. There's just no holes.
You talk about in the return game. Love it.
Yeah.
We don't ever talk about the return game.
Right.
Love it. It's the worst.
That's ridiculous.
They're past last in the league.
It's crazy. The blocking is horrific. It's definitely got to be better. They got to be able to block so that their return man can have, these open lanes so that he can try to move the ball up. I mean, there's no reason in it. All the time you always see like all this clutter, like right there. Like nobody, I don't know what's going on. All I know is that the blocking is really, really bad. They got to get together and decide like what they're going to do, because it's just a mess. And we really could use help, special teams on that. And let's not forget about,
I'm going to try to find a way to spin this to be positive, guys. So don't mind me. Peachy is speaking facts. I'm going to try to find a way to spin it. That's what I do. I'm sorry. I'm optimistic. I know. It's bad. I should be pessimistic. I'm not. Can't be. Go ahead, Peachy. I'm sorry.
No, it was just that we just got to block better. They got to be more aware of what's going on. There's so many times where we're caught back at the 10 or the 5 or whatever, and we start from there. And it should be, there's a lot of times where if the blocking was better, that we could advance it up to at least 40 or something to help the offense. The special teams has got to help the offense more to get started. We can't just start back there at the 10, 15 like all the time. Like we have to help this offense out.
I'm with you. Let's flip it. Let's talk about kickoffs. The mixed emotions about Jake Moody is just weird to me, and I'm going to take all of my bias out of it because I want to see it from the side that the faithful see it from, and then I don't know how to defend it because I don't know what he's being asked to do. Okay, I don't know what Jake Moody. You don't know what Jake Moody is being asked to do. You just know what you want him to do. Now, I want him to do the same things y'all want him to do, and that's kick the ball into the end zone. But what I feel like they're asking him to do is hang the ball in the air in the corner so that your coverage team can get down there and pin them. And what happens is Isaiah Oliver's got to be the worst special team gunner of ever. I don't understand it. That's why I'm saying I get where we're coming from. I'm with y'all, faithful. I get where we're coming from. Just kick the ball all the way into the end zone, nothing but net, past the bleachers, into the stands every single time. But for some reason, I think Schneider wants to give his defense an opportunity to get like a safety. I don't want to get another mother freaking safety. The last time we got a safety, we got our butts kicked.
Right. It's like
F a safety. Just play.
I
play
do,
football.
Agree with that. So, Breezy, since you went back and watched the game again.
Oh God, I was crying.
Whose fault was it for the return that the Packers had? The one that they
Isaiah freaking Oliver. He was the issue. And
that was so bad.
Here's the positive outlook. They got a touchdown after that? I can't remember. I'll go look. Here's the positive outlook.
Yeah, they did.
The special teams unit, unfortunately, has been the most inconsistent unit all season long. Here's why, though. So only positivity I could get out of this. I think it's because of the injuries. A lot of our players on defense play on special teams. And a lot of our defensive players are starters and they're young, but they're the starters on defense. So when those starters go down, your younger special team players got to go play defense. And so I think because of the inconsistency of veterans, starters, defense, offense, you got to go play special team. Like, it was just no set people. And not one team in the NFL has just special team players. You got to be able to do both. Mm-hmm. But if you're offense, you got to play special teams. If you're defense, you got to play special teams. The only thing I can think of there was just inconsistency of who was there. And sometimes we talk about cohesiveness, especially when it comes to the trenches, the offensive line, the defensive line. We talk about cohesiveness, but there needs to be cohesiveness on that as well, because they got to stay in their God blessed lanes. And when you don't stay in your lane, when you overplay, when you don't do your task, Peachy. If you and I were working together on a project and you were assigned to do your task and I was assigned to do my task, if you put the two tasks together and they're done and they're executed properly, we win. We put the puzzle together. We complete the package, right? But when you don't do your part, execute your part, and then let's say I execute my part, but I see you miss your part. Guess what I'm going to go do? I got to go help you, which guess what that's going to happen to me? I'm going to miss out on my part. That is the issue with the 49ers. And I don't know if it's trust because of the different players that go in and out. They got to get that figured out. And it won't get figured out in this year. It does not. Right, I think they need a different special teams coordinator.
Oh,
I'm not sold on Brian Schneider. I'm sorry. And that's just me. It's my take. But Jake Moody got his ball blocked. Everybody's saying he kicked it low. He would have missed anyway. Here's the thing. He didn't miss. And here's another thing. It got blocked. So
it got blocked.
Like, I don't get why he's being brutalized for a blocked field goal. If he kicked it low, he kicked it low. Kickers kick it low. They also try to kick it high. We don't know was that a kick he was iced on too? I believe that was an iced one. I think they called the timeout.
Yeah, they did.
And they iced him. Mm-hmm. To me, that's the issue.
Of course
icing is the issue with Jake Moody.
Every time that he's gotten iced.
Miss. It's a miss.
That's what happens on the next one. Yep.
It's a miss. Okay? So, if it was Moody's fault, I don't see how, because it was blocked. Think it was his fault. But if it was his fault, fine. That's fine. I'm fine.
But he also kicked a 52-yarder
and that's
that
where
nobody
we're going.
even
that's where I want to go.
We had so many people that were like, oh, there's no way he's going to make this.
I want to go there. He made a 52-yard field goal.
Put it right down the middle, too.
Down the middle, maybe skewed slightly to the right because he got a curve. Whatever. With distance to go 54, 56. He kicked that in the weather conditions. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, kickers are going to make some. They're going to miss some. But they live to kick another day.
Even the great Justin Tucker misses the field
Nobody
goal.
cares about anybody else but the San Francisco. You're speaking facts. I know you say. Peachy, 49er faithful, we are the most unlogical fan base in the world. We support when the other teams do. Oh, my God, he kicked a 58-yarder. Oh, my God, he missed. That's okay. He's Justin Tucker. Let it be Jake Moody. Yo, he got to go. He got to be fired. We wasted a third-round draft pick. We did this. We did that. And look, I'm just saying, Moody every 49ers player should make you nervous.
Every one of them. You're right. You're not even every.
Starting with the head coach.
One of them, right.
Like starting with Kyle.
Head coach on down.
Guys, you guys are so dope that y'all know by now if Kyle Shanahan just chooses to run the ball down any team's throats, they would win it.
Yeah.
There would be no problems. But that's not Kyle.
No,
not anymore. Brock Purdy almost shot a pick six. Jimmy Garoppolo did that against Minnesota. He took that ball so fast out of Jimmy Garoppolo's hand when Aaron Kendrick dropped that pass. He might even caught the pass.
Run.
Run
in that game.
Run.
In the NFC Championship game with the Packers. And they would really put it back in his hand.
I'm not saying that Brock Purdy isn't franchise. I'm not saying that Brock Purdy isn't the man or isn't elite. It's all about rhythm and gaining momentum. And sometimes you got to do things just to gain momentum. Brock Purdy, to me, is a really great quarterback in the NFL. And he's going to have good games and he's going to have bad games. That's typical standard for NFL quarterbacks because the teams each week say, we got to rattle this guy. Let's figure it out. We'll send the kitchen sink and something's got to be his kryptonite. Everybody has a kryptonite, but my point is if you see your quarterback struggling from a head coaching perspective, it's not to get out there and continue to force it. is continue to play football. And that's where Brock Purdy, to me, excelled. He said it too. And I said it to you in the text message. Hey, guess what, Peachy? He has to stop forcing the ball and take what the defense is giving him. And then he goes and says, I didn't watch the pressers till this morning, so I never know what the players or the coaches say until the next day. And then I'd be like, dang, we talked about it on the show. Like, this is what they got to. He took what the defenses was giving him. Let's get to the defensive side, Peachy, because football is about to start shortly. I know people want to go out with their families, get food, all that good stuff. And I'm here in California on a day where I just want to go home. But here we are. Defense, Peachy, they gave up 21 points. I said that they would give up 17. That's what I predicted. But I also stated if they keep teams into that average, which is 17 to 21, they'll win the game. They found a way to win the game, but the defense, in your opinion, Peachy, looked what? And then we'll get to some more Super Chat contributions.
Defense? Ooh, Lord. See, y'all don't want me to go.
Yes, we do. That's why we're here. Yes, we do.
I'm going to make it short. This defense, Lord Jesus, especially this non-existing pass rush, Jordan Love had all day to throw the football back there.
Yeah.
I do not understand what happened to this pass rush. We have a D-line full of superstars, highly paid superstars on this team.
I would say that they have one superstar and then his subordinates.
Okay, but they...
No, I want you to keep your...
Right.
You keep your...
Oh, got you. So you're going to keep mine and then you're going to... Okay, got
absolutely.
you.
Absolutely. I don't think they're all superstars.
But... it was non-existent because you could watch Love back there and he had all the time in the world to manipulate the pocket, to figure out what he, you know what I'm saying, is doing and stuff like that. I know the Packers O-line is good, but our D-line is supposed to be good too. We're supposed to be good too. Come on now. Come on, guys. We're supposed to be good too. So it's one of those things. I did not see anyone really coming at this on here, like as far as like getting to the quarterback, making the quarterback uncomfortable. Until the very end of the game, Love was never uncomfortable. He was only uncomfortable for like a second, and that was it. He didn't feel rushed to do nothing. His passes are pretty much on point. The only thing I'm saying is that Bosa and Young, and yes, I'm not going to be biased like that, Chase Young, they got to step up. They have to. I know that we're missing one that's on there, and they're talking about, well, everybody's got to step up. They got to do I understand that, but I didn't see it. I did not see Love really, like basically he could just be back there doing handstands and stuff. That's how it was. And I know that the Packers O-line is good, but our D-line is supposed to be good too. Come on now. This is nitty gritty. This ain't the Wayne Breezy show.
What you trying to say?
I'm just saying that the Wayne Breezy show is about news and you do all that, and that's fine.
Don't be trying to sun my Wayne Breezy. How you gonna shoot down
but
Wayne
nitty
Breezy
gritty is nitty gritty, and it's just Peachy's nitty gritty. So I'm telling you now,
guys. Look, she's telling you now. Here's the thing, okay? I thought I was more upset with the defensive line against the run than I was in them getting the sacks. I wanted sacks, but I knew that they were going to get time. I didn't know, in my opinion, from the edge perspective, I just didn't think they contained him properly because I don't want to say they over pursued in their rush, but the front did exactly what I asked them to do. Jordan Love got outside the pocket numerous times, but because the edge was so in, he was able to get outside and kind of like extend the play and make a play. Right. So they forced him out the pocket, but the edge was supposed to keep him in the pocket so that way they could run into each other. But got to give respect to Jordan Love on that.
So, and then the next thing on the defense has to be the fact that it was such a stat that the 49ers have not allowed a 100-yard rusher in I don't know how many games. That's why I said
that it's the run defense.
That was very disappointing. And let's not get like on my pet peeve, the missed tackles. I don't know how many it equated out to be, because every time I say there's like this many missed tackles, it turns out there's not as many as I thought. I thought on the one play to the left with Aaron Jones, he slid through Warner. He slid through
there were 9 missed tackles
Greenlaw.
In this game.
He slid through somebody else on this one play where they were able to not get him down, where he wiggled and he got around and whatever. Like, I consider all those to be missed tackles. I felt like that Green Bay, like, if Green Bay had a kept with that and they didn't, they actually did what Kyle, did, like, where he, stopped running the ball for just a little bit. Green Bay stopped doing that too. And that's when they started messing up, whenever they stopped using Aaron Jones. But he was tearing us up. Like, we were having trouble with the run, and our run defenses, especially with Armstead back, like, it's supposed to be better than that. So I was very disappointed with the run defense.
Here's what happened. They ran outside. So for y'all that don't know football, they ran outside. They didn't run in against them. They didn't run up the middle. They barely ran up the middle, and they got short yardage.
That's true.
All of Aaron Jones' big gains were around the mother freaking outside zone. I wonder where they got that from. I'm curious to know where they got that from. The big play, because before this big play, for those that weren't following the stats during the game, which is fine, that's what you got me for, Aaron Jones had 49 yards. 49. How ironic. He had 49 yards before that explosive run.
Before that, like, 52.
That Logan Ryan missed. Logan Ryan missed that tackle.
Yes, that was bad.
Our safeties suck.
That was so bad.
I never thought I missed Hufanga more. I get.
Yes, Lord.
And get it. Don't get it twisted. He would miss some tackles. Here's some positivity from the 49ers defense, okay? They only gave up 330 yards in total. Now, I know everybody's crying about the rush, but it's not like he killed us. They just stuck with the run. I wonder what happens when you stick with the run. It's so funny to me that Matt LaFleur said, hey, Aaron Jones, you're better than Christian, and we're going to stick with the run. I wonder if Kyle Shanahan would have said, hey, Christian, who called his own touchdown on that 18 play up the middle and made everybody miss. I wonder if Kyle would have just said, Christian, you're better than Aaron. Let's just stick with the run and see how the game would have changed. Mm-hmm. The game was damn near even statistically, and I mean even statistically. It's so crazy. They 330 yards. They had 194 in the air. They had 136 on the ground. You got that huge explosive play. They finished the game with 28 carries. We had 24 carries with about 25 less rushing yards. They averaged 4.9. We averaged 4.2. We just scored touchdowns. The Niners gave up yards but 0 touchdowns on the ground. So I want to give them some credit because the Niners defense in the red zone was they were pretty decent. Like the majority of the game, they ended up giving up the 2 scores, one to the tight end. I think it was Tucker Kraft. I think got one down there, and then but those were helped and aided and embedded by penalties, which we got to talk about. Mm-hmm. But I thought the defense run game was atrocious. They had 9 missed tackles. The 136 yards is unacceptable. I don't care if it was Aaron Jones because he had 100+ yards, but just giving up over 100 yards total is not 49er football.
Right, it's not.
And it's because they couldn't set the edge. And I'm confused. The good thing is, if they have to play if they have to play Detroit likes to run up the middle.
Yep.
But the Niners, before Eric Armstead, when Eric Armstead was out, struggled against that. Jahmyr Gibbs is the change of pace back. He's going to try to get to the outside. So he's like Aaron Jones. I hate to say it, but that's his comp right now, Jahmyr Gibbs. And so they're going to try to power it with Montgomery if it's them. If it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, please God, let it be Tampa Bay Buccaneers. At least you know you're getting Rachaad White, and he's a both mixture of inside, outside zones, so the Niners would have to figure it out. But those Aaron Jones tosses, the Niners just could not get through those gaps. You saw Diamador Lenore get blocked. You saw, it's crazy. It's crazy. Nigel had this comment, and we'll bring that up. It's a super chat contribution, but let's read Tony's comment. Aaron Jones is probably the best running back.
Thank you for watching.
Right. That the best running back the defense will face the rest of the way unless we see Lamar Jackson. Lots of positives. I'm trying to tell you, there's some positives from the defense. Number one, they only gave up 21 points. You mean to tell me this team went to the red zone 95 times and they got 21 points total?
Yeah.
Let that sink in.
Yeah,
First game back, off of rest. You had new Armstead. Chase Young was starting now. There's no Cleveland Farrell. The rotation is slim on the outside of the edge. Randy Gregory had hold on. I can tell you right now. I'm sitting there trying to guess. Randy Gregory. Here's the snap count. You want to know the snap count? Here we go. Snap count. Chase Young, 45. Nick Bosa, 63. Hargrave, 44. Armstead, first game back, 46. Robert Bill Jr., 5. Kevin Givens, 14. Sebastian Joseph Day, 10. Randy Gregory, 21. That's your Javon Kinlaw, 20. That's your defensive front. They were kind of all over the place. They had some stops, which is positive. They had 20 stops in this game. 20 tackles for a loss. And you got to talk about that 4th and 1 where they got Green Bay off of the field.
That was huge.
They had moments, but they struggled in the run. The penalties. 3 pass interference calls in this game all led to points for the San Francisco 49ers. Ambry Thomas, the 41-yard penalty, spot foul, the 13-yard penalty, spot foul, and the Tashawn Gibson penalty, spot foul. All to me super suspect, but Alex Kent wasn't letting the players play football.
Yeah.
That's what it came down to. He wasn't allowing them to be aggressive. Ambry Thomas was the worst graded defender out there per PFF. 32 grade. He was bad. He was bad. Those penalties. They got into his head. Where's Nigel's comment? Super chat contribution from Nigel. Should Ambry Thomas sit next week? Let's talk about Ambry Thomas because he didn't play what we saw him playing before the injury and the surgery. People keep forgetting that this dude missed a couple of weeks of football. What I'm starting to understand about the Niners is that when they miss weeks, they come back different. Yeah, they don't come back in guns blazing and things like that. They come back a little different. He had 2 missed tackles in this game. 2 missed tackles in this game. His coverage, how many targets was he? He was targeted 5 times, so he gave up all 5 targets. He had those 2 big penalties. I'll just make sure he had only 2. Yep, the 2 big penalties, the 2 PI calls, and that's what killed him. I think if Ambry Thomas gets the green light, he has a good practice, gets the green light. I think you're hoping that he can rebound from this. Peachy, what are your thoughts, man? Would you sit him next week or
no? Because they're not going to. Because if they were going to sit him, they would have took him out and put somebody else in there to go ahead. But he did not go that game. And I do not believe for 1 second because I can hear it now. They're going to say, yeah, he had those or whatever, but one of those was kind of questionable. that it was, one of those 50-50 ones, like you call it and you don't call it and that kind of stuff. They're going to say that he did make a few plays while he was at. I'm telling you now, like, I know this team, but like, I know what they're going to do. He is going to be right out there. They are not going to do that.
I mean, Mike says, sit him next game. Let him think about what he did.
I just don't see him doing that.
I'm
with I'm with Tanya right here. I'm good. So if that's your alternative.
Yeah, Fear said it too. This is what it means. Woo! Like we're because now you got to put well. Not so for Steve Wilson, it's a matchup thing, and so I haven't decided how to match it up because I don't know who we playing. Okay, so I don't know who the 49ers are going to play because I'm not going front. I kind of like a matchup if Oliver is out there on what's the kid, Mike Evans, if he lines up in the slot. Like, I kind of like the big on big matchup. I kind of think that's where he will do well. And if we got to play Tampa, we get to go back and watch the game and watch the film, right? Yeah. We beat them. Brock Purdy's undefeated against them. Now we just need to figure out what to do defensively. But if what they're saying, what Tanya and what Fair is saying is, if you bench Ambry, you start Demo on the outside, and now Isaiah is going to become the slot. And don't miss me with the Womack talk. He just hasn't been healthy enough to get the reps to play this season. But I'm glad he's out there. And even he's struggling on special teams.
Mm-hmm. Yep, sure is.
So like it's super crazy. It's super crazy to it's crazy.
Some people in the comments, Breezy, was wanting to know about Jair Brown.
Yeah, we'll talk about Jair Brown in a second. Let me get to these super chat contributions. I don't want them to get missed. Sean, my brother Sean, thank you so much, man. Sean sent me a text. He sent this text too. Best B, that was the best game ever. First of all, Sean got to the game. He got to his seat late. And then when he got to his seat, it was raining. But he had Kanan. Yo, Kanan had the biggest slice of pizza I've ever seen in my entire life. And Kanan's a little bitty. He picked that joint up. He blew on it, and he took a bite. Kanan was focused on that slice of pizza. But, Sean, thank you so much for everything that you do, man, for me. It was definitely a great game. Sean wasn't nervous the whole game. You want to talk about no nerves?
That's crazy.
I don't know. He channeled his inner stuff. B, that was the best game ever, bro. He said it in the presser. He had a Debo ready plan. Hey, where did you guys hear that? I said give the ball to playoff D before the game started. Debo was about to go berserk. I'm telling you, he was about to go berserk.
It was gonna be different if Debo hadn't got hurt.
Debo was going berserk. When he was gone, it effed up his plan. He couldn't adjust. We saw this in our 3-game skid. Debo, Ben, Trent, yeah. Cleveland Browns, remember it. And that was the feeling I was getting, Sean, from this game. And then, that's what I was getting, Sean. And then he had another show wouldn't be a show without a Garbaggio comment. Peach, you want to read this one?
Yes. I think a Garbaggio is a shapeshifter, and he is now Jake Moody. Every kick is like playing in Vegas.
It is.
F Green Bay. F them. Pigeons, Cowgirls, Butt Pack, Beagles, Ravens, Chiefs, just white and flush.
Flush the toilet. 49er Jeff. We were talking about kicking, and he does. Let me just remind everybody that there's nothing wrong with being nervous. Some of us get nervous about certain things, right. And some of us. And here's the thing: I get stage fright. Like I'm a stage fright. I'm nervous right now doing this, but they would never know. But you know now, I'm nervous every time I go live. I'm nervous every time I perform.
Every single time. Every single time.
So if y'all nervous, how y'all think he feel? Gotta show him some love. Gotta give him some love. It's not about stroking his ego. It's about saying, listen, you got this. speak positive stuff in the air for players that are struggling. 49er Jet followed it up with, we was in a dogfight and we won. I was nervous. Hey, man, sometimes you come out of them dogfights the winner. Sometimes you come out as a loser. And the Niners, in my opinion, they figured it out. It was tough. It was tough. Eddie G and the B-Dogs, member for 14 months. Oh, my gosh, that's 6 months from 2 years. That's Breezy awesome. Bringing home the dub. Every time you ask me to bring home the dub, we bring home the dub, dog.
That's right.
We bring home the dub. Yep. But, yeah, man, it was good being out there with Miss Debbie, with Sean, with Kanan, with John, with Nick, with the faithful. Ran into a bunch of people, took lots of photos. Faziel ran into him. We met. People had... It was just great. Like, just the weather was just like, ugh. But the experience was crazy. The atmosphere was crazy. The Do It for the Bay was crazy. And, you know, the faithful. Towel. The towel.
Look, it is gorgeous, by the way.
It was nice.
Yeah.
It was nice. It was definitely nice. I know look, it's good to have this conversation before we jump off here, Peach. Because we're all seeing some of the same stuff. And what you see, I may miss, and what I see, you may miss, and what they see, we may miss, and we may have stuff that they didn't see. And that's why we come here to have this conversation, because the one thing that was consistent from Kyle Shanahan and every single player was this was not their best. Like, this was not their best game, but they got the win. And sometimes, Peachy, you got to get it how you can get it, and coming out on top and living for that next day to prepare. Because all they can do is brush the dirt off their shoulders and prepare for their upcoming opponent, right?
Right. That's right. Oh, thank God.
Whew. Well, like you said, Peachy, next week supposed to be sunny. Ahmad Z already says 67.
Yep.
And the forecast. You guys are going to have a winter storm next week in California. I can feel it.
I hope not. Before we close out the show, we do want to shout out Rob D, who says, good to be back at Gamer for Life. He's talking to somebody. My girlfriend passed away after a 2-week battle, so I missed a lot of the live shows. You are in our prayers. And we just pray for your strength. And always. We just want you to know that Nitty Gritty is here for you. So if you need anything, just reach out to us and let us know, Rob.
Always.
Because you are our family. So, and I'm very sorry to hear that.
Very sorry. Definitely in our prayers, Rob
Absolutely.
D, man. And if you need us. Mark says, I don't know if I can read this out loud.
Said, I'll read it. It said, I
because
think
Pete, you ain't got a problem reading this one. Go ahead, Peach.
We really need to move on from Debo. He never stays healthy. Yes, he's good. Yes, he's an amazing player. But damn, bro. The reason why I want to read this is because I saw this on social media so much last night. Talking about, is it time to finally move off of Debo? You can't rely on him to stay healthy. We're going to need him to do what we need to do. So it's time to move on and replace him. The only thing is trying to replace Debo. Teams have been trying to get a Debo for years. Since we got Debo, like Debo's compared to, you always try to compare these players to Debo and they tell you it's just one Debo Samuel. You just can't move on from him because, you know, he got hurt. Like, you just can't do that. Debo's done so much for this team, this organization, everything. When he's out there, he changes games, just like Breezy said. You know, what would this game would have looked like if Debo hadn't got hurt? It would have been different. We probably would have beat the Packers so severely with Debo out there, because Debo was about to like wreck shop on that defense. Like, he was literally about to take over, which is why they always try to attack Debo and McCaffrey. Did you guys see that one tackle that he had on what's his name had on McCaffrey? He tried to turn his leg. Like, he literally, they try to hurt the best players that are on this team because they know the players that we have that make this team go. So So when they hit them, they're going to hit them with everything they got. And they're going to try to be sneaky and do the kind of stuff like he was doing over there to the right whenever McCaffrey had that one tackle and rolled over and he tried to bend his knee back. Like, that's football. That's what happens. And you're going to have players that are going to get hurt. I do believe Debo is going to try to make a go of it next week. He's also very tough, and he's played through a lot of injuries, just like Kittle does and McCaffrey does and everything like that. So I do believe that it's important for Debo to be out there next weekend. I'm sure that Debo wants to be out there. I definitely disagree with that. I do not think that it's time to move off of Debo. Not at all. Because he is an amazing player, and he literally changes the look of this offense when he's out there. He's such a wild card, and and does so many different things. What is that you called him? I forgot what it was.
He's just an X factor.
X factor. Yeah. And
I don't the style of Deebo Samuel's play is, I feel like he's changed up a bit. But you land on your shoulder, and you guys know when you get injured, you're not really fully healed, right? Until you really give it the time off that you need to give it time off. People think, oh, you get injured, he's out 5 weeks and he's fully healed. No, it's still lingering. It's just okay to play. These guys play injured. Christian McCaffrey says we play injured all the time. Like, we're playing beat up, we're playing banged up, and they are. This is where you gotta find a way to make it through. For Debo, I don't think his injuries are lingering his productivity. I understand that it can be frustrating if he goes out in a big-time game, but it's football. It's going to happen. Now, if the 49ers feel like they need to financially move on from Debo, that's their prerogative, but I don't know how you move on from a player with that caliber of skills. And so you're talking about a player that could catch the ball and go take it to the house every single time. Like, I don't know if I want to walk away from that. Now, can he find a way to stay healthy? Yeah, but that was just a football play, right? Like, he just went. It was just a tackle. Like, I don't know.
Just like I said, the Packers, like, just tackle certain players that we have hard because they know that they're the ones that, make things go. And if you can eliminate, some of these players, then they'll have an easier time beating this team because they know how much Deebo Samuel means to this team. But Deebo is generational. Make no mistakes about that. You ain't just going to roll into the draft and find a Deebo Samuel. Like, it doesn't work that way.
He's definitely one of a kind.
So,
definitely.
You just can't do that. I understand how everybody's mad. But if you're going to say that about Debo, then I can probably give you about 6 others, and you could probably say the same thing. So therefore, I don't want to do that.
Here's the thing about Debo, Mark, right? If you change the way his mindset is, it's going to affect the way he plays football. So if you change his mindset, he won't be as productive, but he'll be healthy. So do you want the productive Debo or just the guy out there playing football healthy? Like, I feel like George Kittle's the same way.
Yes, exactly. That's
but he's here. He's found a way to overcome all the injuries. He was missing every single year.
That's right.
Don't nobody want to get rid of him.
Nope.
And it's football, Mark. And so they're aggressive. They're bullies. And I'm telling you right now, bro, if he didn't get injured, he was bullying the whole nation of Green Bay. Like, it was about to be Debo. And Kyle said it in the presser. This was a Debo game. I told y'all it was a Debo game.
Yes,
it was going to be a Debo game, which would have opened up stuff for Brock to have more lanes to throw opposed to having those crazy tight-ass windows in the zone. That was what happened. But I understand the frustration of not having your best player out there on the football field, because we were the same way about Jimmy Garoppolo. But that's a quarterback. It's not a wide receiver. You need the quarterbacks. You can kind of supplement with these other skill set players, but there will never be another Deebo Samuel. So I think you just take your chances. I mean, that's why he signed that 3-year deal extension. You know what I mean? The Niners are smart in how they worded stuff, and he has incentives based in his contract, and and things like that. And Debo's trying to get to the daggone Super Bowl and win. I think
Debo will play next week.
I hope so.
He will.
And I believe he will as well. But at the end of the day, the Niners overall, Peachy, they gotta execute. Yeah. That's the issue. Mm-hmm. Issue is execution. You gotta give the thumbs up for Jake Moody for kicking a 52-yard field goal after missing his last three kicks, and then bangs one that brings the 49ers in to give them an opportunity to even win the game. So he gets a thumbs up from me in my book. From special teams. Peachy, who was your defensive player of the game?
It would have to be the absolute dog yesterday, Lenore. It would have to be him. Oh, my goodness.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
He was on one yesterday. I was loving every bit of it.
Definitely on one. But, I'm going with the boy that makes the plays out there. His name is Big Play Dre. Yeah. Dre Greenlaw was like second coming of Superman or something like awesome. That. Like, damn, not one, but 2 interceptions. First 2 interception games since college. Senior year, by the way. First 2 interception game. But the dogness and my man, Diamador Lenore, shout out to that kid. Mm-hmm. And the big playmaking from Dre. The defense forced the turnovers, and the defense found a way to get, to seal the deal. The defense sealed the deal. Offensively, who'd you go with offensively? Player of the game?
On offense, I went with Jennings.
Yeah, I think it's unanimous. Jennings. I want to shout out Chris Conley for making one of the biggest catches of his entire career.
Oh my God, that was fantastic.
You want to talk about big catch?
Yes, that was awesome.
Going across the middle, catching that ball, getting the feet in bounds, getting a first down.
Yeah.
Chris Conley.
That is why he's here, for things like that.
That's crazy.
He doesn't have to be, the guy. He doesn't have to be, what I'm saying? Like, he just wants to be able to impact the game like that. And that was fantastic right there. And I was so proud of Conley, because Conley knows his role and he's willing to play his role just like that. And that's fine. But that was awesome. That was great.
I want everybody to, take as much time as you need to vent, get your frustrations out. But we did that today, and now we're looking forward to playing whoever we're playing. Okay? And so that's what we're preparing our mindset for. Ladies and gentlemen, the San Francisco 49ers are in the NFC Championship by any means necessary.
That's right.
Doesn't matter how they got there.
Don't have to be pretty.
They back, baby. It don't have to be pretty. Sometimes it's gritty.
That's
but
right.
They're in there like swimwear, and that's the only thing that matters. That's the only thing that matters. You guys are awesome. You guys rocked out with us for an hour and a half. We appreciate it with this impromptu show. Shout out to PG. Shout out to the Nitty Gritty Niner Talk crew, Fair, Mose. Thank y'all so much for all that you do as well. Miss Debbie behind the scenes. Miss Deb, when I tell you, that woman stayed prayed up. Because I'm telling you right now, she missed at least 3/4 of that game because she was on her knees like, God, please. Dear Lord, come on, God. Come on.
That's what she said. She said that you were the one that was, keeping it calm and keeping it like this.
Listen, I'm like, it's going to be okay, Miss Deb. It's just, it's okay. Trust me. We got this. That's okay, Wayne. I'm going to keep praying. I don't question people when they pray. I don't question none of it.
No.
You do what you do.
Whatever you got to do.
And Miss Deb was awesome. Sean, thank you again. And did we miss a Super Chat contribution? I felt like we did. Yes, we did.
Shout out to Miss Sin, who held it down on social media, telling people, have faith. Every three tweets, have faith. We got this. So she's another one that kept it like this. She said, I know it looks hard right now, but we got it. I promise you, we going to get this. We got to have faith. We got to have faith. So shout out to Sin if you're watching. We love you and we appreciate your calmness also of doing that, because she kept putting that out there. And I was like, I'm trying really hard, but they did not make it easy. But yes, the level-headed people, Breezy, Sin, I mean, good Lord. I mean, they really, were just.
It's not easy. it ain't easy being Breezy or Miss Sin or whoever had that faith, because what y'all were witnessing was reality and it didn't look good. But listen, they pulled it off. It did. I'm not going to front. It didn't look good. It didn't look good. It didn't. Sean.
Even Kyle knows it didn't look good. Like he even like in the presser.
All of them.
Oh, I was telling Breezy this. I was telling him that the way that Kyle looked in the presser, like it didn't look like that we had just advanced to the NFC Championship game. Like it looked like that we was just, well, even in the locker room, the guys, normally, you have that, where they're like excited about going to the NFC Championship game. I love the mellowness of these guys. Like, let's get ready for the next game. I love that. The mentality of this year compared to any other year is something amazing. These guys are just looking at these as games. You just have this one game and then you have this next game and you have to put everything into this game. And I love it. I love this mentality. And if it gets us our Lombardi, I'm good with it right there. You just go out there and play the next after the next. And love it.
I love it as well. Sean says, did you see those flag people? They were soaking in the corner. Then they ran on the field and burned the grass, and they were waving so hard. I wasn't paying attention to no flag people. I don't know. I didn't see any of that. I didn't. I was focused on. I don't know what the hell I was focused on. I was praying too at some point, but nah, Sean, you don't miss a beat. Sean doesn't skip a beat. That's what it is. I do want to read this comment before we jump off here from my man Rick. Breezy, check this out. And you know that if we play Detroit, they're going to throw the ball in the secondary. You know that. So Tampa Bay, they like to throw the ball in the secondary. So what he's saying is, no matter which one of these teams we're going to play, they're going to want to throw the ball to the secondary. And so I feel like he's telling me that Ambry Thomas got to go and whatever. And you know what? Without you saying that, the secondary, guys, the secondary is doing their job. Plays are being extended, and then all of a sudden, guys are finding ways to get open. And so that's where the double moves. Ambry Thomas is not good at comeback routes because he's playing off, and he's there to secure the tackle after the catch or force the receiver out of bounds. I don't know if that's how he's taught to play. But that's what it looks like. When he's in coverage, I need Ambry to trust his self. I think because of what happened to him in his transition into the starting role a couple of years ago, he couldn't get his head around. His head is around. I don't even know if he's looking at the ball.
Right.
But the fact that he got the arm
yes,
around the guy, whether he pulled him down or whether he didn't even touch him, is the flag penalty call on a Bo Melton who ended up getting a touchdown on a busted on because Tashawn Gibson slipped. So the secondary's got to do better. Let's just hope the ground isn't wet. That's number one. Somebody asked about Jair Brown as well. Kyle said that he went with the veteran because Jair missed a lot of football and he didn't feel it was fair to throw him into a big game like this after missing several weeks of football. So that's why we didn't see Jair Brown. But I do believe if Brown practices well this week,
I think he'll play.
He'll get something.
Right.
Unless Kyle feels comfortable with Logan Ryan and his missed tackling behind. All right, we out. I'm good. I'm done cussing out the team and having fun. Listen, enjoy y'all Sunday. Enjoy your day off. Peachy, how you get fireworks?
when I put my thumbs up, for some reason, it just did it.
What the hell?
Put your thumbs up.
Nah.
I don't know why it's doing that.
Come on, Mac. Oh, that's booty butt corny.
I have no idea why it did it.
Oh, I'm out. I'm out. I ain't even gonna say goodbye. I'm out. The freak? How's that even possible?